Google. Let's go get him again.
What's going on, fragrance family? Welcome to another episode of Samplin Samples Sunday. Every Sunday, we're sampling. This series is where I scent as much as a little sample lets me. Not all samples are made alike. It is my scent of the day today, and I'm going to give you as much detail as I can and give you my final thoughts on if I'll be buying this fragrance in the future, getting another sample because this one didn't give me enough ideas, or I didn't like it enough to purchase it, or simply this is the end of the road for the scent. It just wasn't good enough. Today's sample is a part of this new cherry lineup for Tom Ford, of course, off the hype of Lost Cherry, and this one called Cherry Smoke. There's my little Lucky Scent sample. So small, so cute. Tom Ford decided to grow the cherry line because of the success of Lost Cherry. Lost Cherry did really, really well in sales. And you know what that means. Now the line gets bigger. It's an actual line. And then we're going to go 2-3 years from now and the whole thing's going to get axed, or one or two are going to get axed. So keep that in mind. They, of course, released this one with a pairing of Electric Cherry. So they were launched this year. I do have a sample of the other one. It's somewhere in my little sample bucket. So I will be delving into that one this year sometime. But this is the one I wanted to sniff. This is the one that's a little more daring. The other one felt a little more safe as far as the note breakdown goes. But this is the darker cherry scent. Is it exactly what I'm thinking? Well, we are going to see. Now let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one. Our release date was back in 2023. We are in 2023, so it's not an old release. It's a brand new one. Concentration eau de parfum. The nose behind this is the same nose as Lost Cherry, and it is Louise Turner. Now the major notes to my nose on this release was, of course, cherry. And it does have a wallop of it. You kind of have to if you have it in the name. Osmanthus is actually a big factor that not a lot of people talk about in this release, and I'm going to get to that. And of course, the saffron. So let's get to sniffing. Time to drain my little sample, and she's almost done. But again, I'm wearing this as my scent of the day, so I'm finishing it off right now with all of you. And there she goes. See you later. If I want some more, I'm gonna have to buy a bottle. So, ooh, that opening. I don't know. I don't know how people can hate this opening. This is a beautiful opening. So what hits me immediately with Cherry Smoke is that it gives me that big, dark, bold cherry liqueur type of scent. And that's what I absolutely love. It is syrupy sweet. It is beautiful. And I don't mean like sweet, like fakey sweet, like it smells like cherry gum, or it smells like something like that. It really smells like it's liqueur. It really, the juices and the actual cherry, it seems like the cherry's been sitting in their own juices for a while, so it makes it really dark. It's a darker cherry than Lost Cherry in my opinion. It's very authentic to my nose, and it's absolutely gorgeous as a top note. You cannot hate, well, you can hate this top note, but I absolutely love it. The cherry note is the star of the show, and it just reminded me of a maraschino cherry. That's where, you know, it's sitting in its own juices. It's getting darker as time passes, so almost like a black cherry if you want to go that far, because the cherries in here, it feels like they're very deep, dense, syrupy, and sitting in their own juices. That's all I'm kind of thinking about, is that they're just amplifying in flavor, a darker cherry flavor. The cherry gives me a mildly boozy quality, which can't go wrong with that. A syrupy quality, a jammy quality, and juicy qualities. I mean, it really is a 3D cherry note in this release. Absolutely gorgeous. Well done by Tom Ford. And I love these type of notes that give you a 3D manner of the note instead of just like it smells like, you know, cherry gum or cherry something. No, this is really something beautiful, gorgeous. Now the cherry note is a showstopper, no doubt about it. But what else is in this introduction? And that's why you're tuning in to me, because you want to know a little bit more about this release. It can't just be cherry. Well, the osmanthus here is a high secondary note, giving the scent a slight powdery aspect, but mostly giving off its apricot tinge, which, ooh, that is nice. The apricot in here of the osmanthus really changes the game a bit here. It's very much a prominent note and can be lost in this cherry goodness, but I felt it was a really good addition to this scent. The smoke that's in the name, non-existent right now. It's not in the introduction. I'm getting none of it. Some people are getting a lot of smoke out of this thing. I don't know. I'm not getting any of it in the opening. It's a little disappointing on my point of view because I was really hoping for some smoke here. The opening really does remind me of Lost Cherry, a little bit. This one's darker, a little less sweet, a little less playful, but still there. The other primary note here in the opening is saffron. It gives its familiar spicy kick, which does give this scent a little bit more of a masculine air, which this is what people were saying, right? This is going to be a more masculine Lost Cherry. Well, the saffron does that. It plays around with the cherry and osmanthus apricot-like note really well. Opening very much, of course, oh, that apricot. I don't know how people can miss that. I think they're blinded by the cherry, but it's absolutely gorgeous in the introduction. Now let's get into the dry down. And in the dry down, the one thing I noticed was the cherry note mellows quite quickly in this scent. It was big, bold, punching up top. It was beautiful, but starts sharing the overall scent profile with, of course, the osmanthus. So the apricot starts kind of giving more of the forefront with the cherry. The saffron, of course, it's sharing it with the saffron, but now more in the dry down, there's some leathery touches that come through. Now the leathery touch is suede-like. I don't know, some people are comparing this to Tuscan leather. Not at all. Zero. Like, Tuscan leather's got some punch to it. It's got some smoke to it. It's very nice. Now, if you gave me that leather in this release, we'd be talking. But we're not talking because the leather in here is very suede-like to me. It's tame. If I had to give it a color, and I always like to do this, and I know not different colors or smell different, but it's a white leather to me, like a suede white leather. So that's the kind of color I'm giving it. It's not big. It's not bold like leather notes can be. They don't, you know, a lot of leather notes can come off smoky in scents. Not here. It really is a tame suede-like leather. The leather does take a big portion of the overall scent profile here. So now it's starting to go more into not just a cherry-centric or a fruity-centric release, but now it's getting more of a different phase here with leather, cherry, saffron, more masculine, of course, and then, of course, that apricot from the osmanthus. Not only that, but you're starting to get a little bit of woods here. The woods in here have no real personality from what I got from my little sample. They're mostly there as a backbone. And with these two notes showing up, the leather and of course the woods here, I felt it took away from the cherry note and its presence and the beauty of it, honestly. Now it's a mild cherry leather wood combo until the end of the release. This fragrance doesn't have much depth to it, I would say. I mean, it really is the showstopper is the introduction. That's where they want to sell units, right? The back end of this release I felt was lacking. And where's the smoke, by the way? Where's my smoke? I'm still looking for it. This is not Tuscan leather. No way, no how. At the end of the day, they nailed the cherry note. They did in this one. But they also failed the smoke show. The smoke portion, in my opinion, non-existent. I'm still waiting for the smoke show. It never came. The cherry is one of the best in the game, but I had a hard time. It had a hard time sticking around. It's a good scent, but I can see why people would pass on this one, either because of price, obviously. It's a pricey devil. Or they already have a few cherry-centric scents in the collection, including maybe Lost Cherry. And this makes it so close to it that a lot of people are going to pass. Now let's get into Seasons, Day-Night, Versatility, and Performance, my suggestions. So Seasons, this is almost any season. I would say fall would be the best season for it, and also spring. I feel like those 2 seasons, but it also can fit well in the winter. Day or night, I feel like this is more of a nighttime scent, but you can definitely wear it casually during the day or night. It doesn't matter. Versatility, I feel fairly average. There's nothing big, bold, or crazy, and yeah, the versatility is pretty good on this one. Fairly average. Performance, and this is where a lot of people, you know, they want performance out of fragrances that they spend buku dollars on. Longevity was 6 to 9 hours, which is good. I feel it's good. Like 7 to 9 is my V. I always talk about my V as far as longevity goes. It's a little less than that with average projection. Again, I had a little sample, so I can't dose myself in this release and see how it goes. But the little sample usually tells me a really good story in regards to what kind of performance I'm gonna get and what kind of fragrance I get. So now at the end of the day, you know, I'm at that point here with this release, and right now it's popular to hate on Tom Ford at the moment. It's popular. If you're an influencer, this is the road you want to go to, because that's what people like to. Prices, an issue. Estee Lauder took over, issue. Redundancy, right? Another cherry fragrance. Like, do we need any more, right? It's popular to hate. Now, I always see a fragrance at face value. Who cares about Lost Cherry? Who cares about Tom Ford? Let's take a look at, of course, this release as a whole. This one is solid, but not great. It's not a showstopper for me. Now, if I haven't smelled any other cherry fragrances and I smelt this, I'd be wowed. That introduction is absolutely gorgeous. The back end, but very good cherry release in my personal opinion. Now, the drawbacks would be the cherry is big and bold, very well done up top. It is, but loses its edge in the dry down. The smoke portion, non-existent. So that's my little gripe here, is that when you're naming it this, and I'm like, oh, you know, there could be so many possibilities, especially with the brand of Tom Ford. They go edgy sometimes, and that's where, you know, your hope and dreams go with. Because, you know, these are the creators of Amber Absolute, among others. Tobacco, they've made some edgy releases. It's not like we're talking about, I don't know, Lacoste. If you put smoke on a Lacoste fragrance, you're gonna be like, okay. But there's hopes and dreams when they put that in the title. I didn't get a smoke show here, and that's the problem. It's non-existent. The leather in here is tame. It's not Tuscan leather. It's not. I don't care. People compare it to other Tom Ford leathers. Hell to the NO. The leather in here is suede-like. It doesn't give me anything smoky to my nose. I enjoyed the cherry note while it lasted. The Osmanthus, which is, you know, not really in a lot of reviews, I felt like that was an excellent addition. I feel like that's the X factor in this release. That I want an actual high smoky scent with a big punching cherry note. If I was a creative director, yes I did. Give me tons of smoke in the back end of this. I know it wouldn't sell, but still, one can dream, one can love. That's why I'll never be creative director at Tom Ford. But it would be a beautiful, beautiful addition. Give me some big smoke, punching cherry. It'd be a male scent. And again, the ladies that love that kind of stuff, perfect. You're awesome. But at the end of the day, I love the opening. It's exactly what I expected from a cherry. It's big, dark, it's bold. You're not gonna miss it. And the Osmanthus backup, like as a secondary note, using an apricot is an excellent trick. Beautifully done. The dry down is solid, yet kind of unspectacular. Overall, solid release from Tom Ford, 100%, but it could have been a star with that type of name and the whole Tom Ford machine backing it. You know, this could have been a great release, but it is not. So at the end of the day, I always like to give scores because I don't have the bottle in hand. You never know when you're going to see this fragrance on my channel, if ever. So I'm going to give it a 1 to 10 score. If I had to give it a score and you're thinking, this is kind of underwhelming fragrance review, not really. You're not really listening then, because the cherry's awesome. The Osmanthus, really good. I love that trick. Now the Osmanthus, I love that trick as a secondary note. Beautiful, beautiful thing. At the end, it was good, but the dry down, it was lacking. Like I wish I was getting the Tuscan leather smoke that other noses are getting. Maybe my nose is broken, you never know. But I'm gonna give it 8 bottles out of 10. This could have been a 10 out of 10 Tom Ford, and there's a lot on my channel, Tuscan Leather, Tobacco Vanille, among others. I love the brand, but 8 out of 10 on this one. Is it gonna be bottle worthy? Of course, I'm gonna get a bottle of this at some point, but not right now. I'm not in a rush, but I really did like that cherry note's gorgeous. Now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below, especially a new release like this. There's some love and hate on both sides of the YouTube realm, so I can't wait to see all these comments on this release. And as always, a great Port fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.